Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Blue Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host Hefty Duck. And as always, we always invite people to come on the show. Whether they do or don't, that's a different story. There's always next time, Who knows? Maybe we'll get a surprise guest appearance. Like that time Ian has done it multiple times, or Harry, or someone else. You never know. That's just part of the fun surprise on this show. You never know who's going to show up. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world to talk about since our last show. The Blue Jackets have played 3 games since our last show. They've won all 3, and it was awesome! There's so much awesomeness and positivity, so many good moments in those games, and we're going to talk about it. A lot of good stuff going on there. It was awesome. 3 games in, what are the Blue Jackets doing under Rick Bowness, their new coach? We're going to talk about that. We got some hockey jersey concepts to share, and so much more. Welcome to the show, everyone.
And so much more. Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching at. We don't have any sponsors here, so the best way to support us is just by liking, sharing, or subscribing. If you're on Twitter, check us out over at our YouTube. If you're on YouTube, check out Twitter if you want. But it's probably how you found us. But yeah, if you want to listen to us on audio, check us out. We are on Spotify, Google, YouTube, Apple, anywhere you can find podcasts. We are there. So check us out if you like to listen to our audio version. We upload it after the show almost every night. Yeah, what a week we have had. What a good week.
Yes.
We've had for once.
Yes. And of course, before we get going, one last thing. Don't forget to check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed fan group that I run. We do a lot of fun stuff. You should check it out. But
do it. Check it out.
Anyways, as we always do, a little appetizer before we get to the more big stuff, which is like the games and so much more. Gonna start things off with we're gonna put this up on the screen here. So first things first. This is what I like to see. So here we have another example of Ohio State in some way, shape, or form working with the Blue Jackets on something. And this particular something is that the Block O and Block O hockey, which is two big student fan organizations within Ohio State, have teamed up with the Blue Jackets to do a little deal, a little opportunity for tickets. If you are a student at, let's see, read the post on Instagram. The Knuckle Bucks and Block O once again partnering with the Blue Jackets. Yesterday, a group of Knuckle Bucks got to enjoy the CBJ game and take a ride on the Boomboni, that's the Zamboni, at Nationwide Arena. If you are interested in being part of this awesome opportunity, text RUSH to 26791 for more Block O specific ticket offers and opportunities to win upcoming prizes and rewards. So basically, the Blue Jackets have teamed up with Ohio State to do a little fun ticket offer if you're an Ohio State student. So that's cool. That's what I like to see, that the Blue Jackets in Ohio State, the two big dogs in Columbus, the stars of the show, the big names in Columbus, coming together to work on something cool, which is a fun little ticket deal for Blue Jackets games if you are a student at Ohio State. And why this matters is that for most of the Blue Jackets' existence, Ohio State has been terrible to the Blue Jackets. It's very sad and unfortunate that it had to be like that, but it was like that. It's obviously no longer like that. In more recent years, the Blue Jackets and Ohio State have worked together on different things and have treated each other better. Obviously, the most recent example, the biggest example, would be the Blue Jackets outdoor game at Ohio State that happened this past season. And there's been other times where Ohio State wishes, good luck to the Blue Jackets on social media when they start their season or when the Blue Jackets have made the playoffs. And same thing with the Blue Jackets. When Ohio State has started their season, they say, hey, good luck, best of luck this season. And, if Ohio State, they get into a bowl game, the Blue Jackets are there saying, hey, good luck in the bowl game, So that's just great to see that the Blue Jackets and Ohio State coming together again to do something cool, a fun ticket offer for Ohio State students for Blue Jackets games. I'm going to stop talking for now, and I'll send it over to Hefty Duck.
What about this?
Yes.
Oh, I don't have very much to comment on this. Pretty cool. Like seeing these kind of interactions happening more.
Yes. All right then. So next, they posted some other videos and pictures, so we'll post that. Then we'll get on to the next thing. So that's people from the Knuckle Bucks and Block O for Ohio State at the Cannon at the Blue Jackets game. There they are on the Zamboni. A picture by the Zamboni. On the Zamboni on the ice. There they are on the Zamboni, waving to the crowd, pulling out their phone, probably taking a picture or a video. Yep, there they are going onto the ice. That's cool. Someone's been on the Zamboni, like I've been on the Zamboni, and it's a fun experience. Waiting to go. They're on the Zamboni, waiting to go on the ice. And there they are getting on the Zamboni. So, that's cool. It's cool. So there we go. That's pretty cool. Let's, we're Ohio State people here, but you know what? Next time you're at a Blue Jackets game, let's see you in some Blue Jackets stuff. That's just me, though, but that's besides the point. So we'll just, if you go to a Blue Jackets game again, let's see you in some Blue Jackets stuff. I know, Ohio State wants you to believe that blue's a bad color because Michigan, and I get that, but that's not always the case. Blue's a good color, too, because Blue Jackets. So it's okay to wear some blue. It's okay to wear some blue. Unlike what Ohio State wants to tell you. They're wrong. I like you, Ohio State, but you're wrong in that. But that's all right. That's all right. So let's see you, if you go to a Blue Jackets game again, let's see you in some Blue Jackets stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going to continue on with one more little, I guess you could call appetizer.
I got some before the games, too.
All right. So 2 more things.
I have 2 more things, actually. So 3.
3! We have 3 more things before the games. So I'll put this up on the screen here. So this was on Instagram recently from an Instagram account. basically ranking all of the jerseys that have been worn for outdoor games, more specifically stadium series. And of course, that's what the Blue Jackets had at Ohio State. And they ranked all of the jerseys that different teams have worn. And, it goes elite, great, fine, not good, awful. Now, as you can see at the top where elite is, the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey is top tier. It has the top spot, followed by the Rangers and the Capitals, at least from Golden Hockey on Instagram. So this backs up what I've seen time and time again, that Blue Jackets fans and non-Blue Jackets fans alike like the outdoor game that the Blue Jackets had at Ohio State. It's just that good. It's just that good of a jersey. And many people said that the Blue Jackets should wear that jersey in some way, shape, or form, whether that be like an alternate or like your main home. That's what, people think, that it's just that good. So good to see that the Blue Jackets are getting some good positive recognition here. And yes, that the outdoor game jersey is loved by many, including Blue Jackets fans and non-Blue Jackets fans alike. So your thoughts on this, Heavy?
I have to agree. It's one of the best hockey jerseys of all time, in my opinion. I'm a little bit biased. I'm going to be, but at the same time, it's like pretty legit, cool as shit. I have a couple things to pick on with this tier list. As it is, this is from Golden Hockey. I'm assuming that they're probably related to Vegas somehow, maybe, which I don't know. Vegas has not had an outdoor game, so they're not up here at all. I would switch the elite ranking New York Rangers jersey with the great New Jersey jersey. I'm a big fan of that one, the red with the black. It's not as cool as when the Canes doing it is not quite as cool, because like the red with the black is just so fierce, dominant feeling. That's all. Other than that, I think the Sharks jersey should be up one from the awful.
Yeah.
It's like not great, but it's better than that fucking LA jersey above it.
Right.
That Colorado one is actually kind of dope in my opinion, and they're not good. All of the Penguins jerseys in the fine need to go down to awful.
Yeah.
That's just me being dick. I'm just being biased on that one. I kind of like the black one with the gold bird on it. But yeah, I definitely got to agree with a lot of this list. It's just someone's individual taste.
Yeah, I personally would bump up the Blackhawks in Minnesota to the elite with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Those are both like very quality jerseys, like very quality designs, high quality designs. I can't talk, dude.
Because this was 2016 when Minnesota had their Stadium Series game, and essentially it was kind of. And they did it well. It was kind of going for that old school outdoor game look, and they did it perfectly, because it's kind of like a more the shade of green. It's kind of something you would see in like an old school hockey jersey.
More of like an evergreen.
Yes.
Like forest green evergreen, not quite pine, but not quite like.
Yeah. Well, it's not exactly like the normal shade of green that Minnesota uses, so it's kind of like that old school looking thing. So it's cool, and even like the shoulders, it's like that old school kind of like vintage, like a cream sort of thing that the Blue Jackets use for their third jersey. Like again, that makes it look good. It adds to that old school outdoor hockey game look. So that was cool, and Blackhawks, like for some time, you had a black jersey and then you took it away, which I don't understand why, because that was a good look. You brought it back for the outdoor game that you had, and then you took it away. And it wasn't until this season that you brought it back, and everyone's like, such a good jersey. Now, don't take it away. Keep it this time. But, that's just me. I would bump up Chicago and Minnesota to the elite with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got for. Well, what? You got something to know?
Not about this. No, I was just gonna move on to the next
all
one.
right. All right. Well, that's all I got for now. We'll go to Hefty Ducks 2 things, and then we'll get to the games and more other important stuff.
Well, first thing I want to talk about real quick is just injuries. It's a constant plague of every team every year. It's hockey. There's going to be injuries. It's very similar to football. I mean, you're going out there and hitting each other. It's going to be injuries. It's a tough sport. But that being said, I'm going off of what Hockey Reference says here. I'm going off a little bit of what I've seen on Twitter, so excuse me if there's like some mild information here on when people are getting back. Dante Fabro, he left Saturday's game against Pittsburgh. He was put on injured reserve, and originally they thought that it was going to be like more severe, but apparently Don Waddell has come out and said that it's not going to be quite as severe as they originally thought, and it shouldn't be anything super crazy, which is good to hear. Get better soon. Isaac Lundestrom, he's still out. He's been on the IR since the December 30th. Mason Marchment, he was placed on the injured reserve on the 17th. I've heard Lundestrom was skating that practice or something like that. Maybe not like full contact yet, but I heard he was skating around a bit. Marchment out right now. It sucks. Denton Matejchuk was out against the Penguins with the upper body. Unsure about what's going on with him. I don't think he's officially on the IR. I think he's a healthy scratch right now. I think we talked about this maybe like a time or two ago. Brendan Smith's out for the rest of the season. He had successful surgery to repair a torn meniscus, and is expected to make a full recovery in 3 to 4 months. Miles Wood, he was placed on injured reserve back on January 1st as well. Can't believe we're already at the 19th right now. Damn. So yeah, a couple key players out. I would love to have, I'd love to see Mason Marchment back there as soon as possible. I mean, any of the guys really. Fabro has been playing really good lately. But specifically Matejchuk, getting Marchment and Matejchuk back would be really big for the guys. And that's about it for the injuries. What do you think? Is it as bad as years prior? Is it just doesn't seem as bad because it's not quite as core people? Boone's back. Branton's back.
No.
Olivier's been back for a minute now.
No, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's just not. I mean, there's still some, you're still getting your injuries here and there, and you would just like not that, you just wouldn't like that to happen, but it is what it is. It's going to happen. It's just like, I'm just speaking in generalities here, but it's like, it's stuff you can't necessarily do about it because it's like, you get hurt because you block a shot and then you hurt, your hand or something or your wrist and now you're out for a bit. Or it's, what happened to Den Matejchuk. It's a play along the boards. Him and the Utah guy are going for it. And he doesn't get the puck. And then in the process, he gets whacked into the boards and it's kind of an awkward angle. And then he gets hurt and you don't hear anything from him. Again, that's just how it is. It just kind of happens, like that. Even like Ivan Provorov, like he didn't miss any games, but it's just like, you block a shot, you take a puck to the ear, and now your ear is bleeding, and you're kind of down on the ice for a bit trying to, catch your breath and trying to figure out what's going on. And then you get up and then you miss a shift or two, and now you got like a thing on your ear to like protect it. And then you're back right out there and playing.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of this stuff, it's just, you can't necessarily really do something about it. They're just kind of goofball injuries that just happen because hockey.
Yeah. You see, was it Monahan got a puck to the face the other night?
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
And I saw Sillinger block a shot. You could tell it stung too. But then immediately
Get right back
was
up.
right back down there blocking another shot.
Yeah. No.
Dude, these guys are tough. Like when they're injured for pretty much for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably very, very few people who are willingly sitting out or volunteering to sit out. That's not what these guys were raised and brought up to do as players, I'm sure.
And the thing is about that, sometimes you can make that argument that, maybe you should. They won't because that's not who they are, but maybe sometimes you should just for their own good and pull them off to the side and say, you know what, it's okay. You can take a break, sit out a game or two, and then come right back. You'll be fine. Like what they did with Zach Werenski,
Like, hey, you got a long career, dude.
Yeah.
It's not just this year.
Yeah, like yes, you got a long career. You're doing good. You're playing a good game here.
Playoffs are far off.
You're playing a good game here. You know what? We appreciate your toughness and your grit and your attitude, your tenacity. We appreciate you being able to just tough it out and fight through it and play games, even though you're in pain and it sucks and it's harder for you to play, but you do it anyways. But it's okay. You know what? Sit out a game or two and come right back, and then you'll be good to go. I'm of the belief that the Blue Jackets probably should have done that with Sean Monahan sooner. They eventually did that with him, but knowing what we know now, how for a good chunk of the season with the wrist injury and how he's just struggling to play through that, and it's bringing his play down, I appreciate the toughness and the determination and the attitude to just fight through that and play games. But then I think earlier on in the season, if it was up to me, I would have been like, you know what? Hey, you're not who you are right now. Just, it's okay to miss a game or two, take a break, and then come right back. And then you'll be good to go. So there's a little give and take there, because sometimes you are going to have to just suck it up and just play the game, even if you're hurt and you're not going to do as good. And then there's times where realistically you probably should miss a game or two and just take a break, but yet you don't do that and play a game. So it depends on the situation, a give and a take, and when you should do it and when you should not do it.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which we could do this after we talk about the games too, is we're just over halfway point in the season, but I want to talk about playoffs and the running up to them now, because it's a fight now. But that one might be a bit of a juicy talk. Let's save that one for after the games. We can go ahead and jump into them. That'll be a fun one. Keep y'all out there.
All right, so we take that back. We said we had 3 things, but it was only 2. But anyway. Mm-hmm. All right, on to the games. Starting off, the Blue Jackets play the Calgary Flames, and they get a big win. They win 5-3, and it was the first game that new Blue Jackets coach Rick Bowness coached in. And honestly, that was a 7 out of 10 game for me, because you played a good game there, but you gave up 3 goals. And that's the only reason that the Flames were in that game, because you gave up 3 goals. Because the one thing watching that game that both Jody Shelley and Steve Mears talked about during that game is that Calgary is not very good on offense. And like they showed the stats and everything, like, yeah, they're not very good on offense. Like, they're like, defensively, they get good. Obviously, Dustin Wolf, he's a good goalie for him. They get good games where they win because of him, and they play good defense and they win games because of that. But like offensively, like, they're not very good. And as you're watching the game, you could see what Steve Mears and Jody Shelley mean by that, because offensively, for a good chunk of that game, they were awful. They really didn't have anything. And it just comes from, when you have the puck in the offensive zone, generally speaking, there's just a certain way on how that goes. Every team is a little bit different on their systems and how they want to play in the offensive zone, how they want to play in the defensive zone. But generally speaking, there's just a certain look, a certain way that things go when you have the puck in the offensive zone. You get a good shift or two, you build on that, you make a couple passes, get some pucks on net, you cycle it, you grind it out, and just put the pressure on. And for the most part, from the Flames' perspective, it just was not there. They get the puck in the offensive zone, and it was just strategically, it was terrible. So, like when Jody Shelley and Steve Mears say that they're not very good on offense, I see what you mean. I get it. I can watch the game and go, yep, they're right. I see it. They're not very good on offense. And the Blue Jackets played a good first period, definitely one of the better first periods they played all season long. They get two, not because they had shift after shift after shift of just good plays in the offensive zone, or get good shift, and they just build on it. They just build on it. And good puck movement, good passing the puck. And then they just get shots on goal. And eventually it paid off because a puck goes up high to the point. It's Dante Fabro, and he does something that I want to see more of, which is shoot the puck. There's been times this season that the Blue Jackets have had good chances to score. They don't shoot it. They pass the puck. It gets picked off. It goes the other way, and then you get nothing. All that time and effort that you put into having good shifts in the offensive zone, and you get nothing. Wasted. But Dante Fabro didn't do that. He gets the puck. He's up high by the point. He just quickly shoots it, puts it on net, and he scores. Just, that's what I want to see. And I'm going to say this a lot in all these games, that I want to see more of this, and that's exactly what the Blue Jackets did, is that they were more direct in the offensive zone. Pucks on net. Shoot. In all these games that we're going to talk about, they were rewarded with that, with more goals. So they get a big goal from Dante Fabro. And then again, they go on the power play. It's Charlie Coyle who scores the goal. But again, he gets the puck and he shoots. That's it. There is no BS, no messing around. No, I'm not going to settle the puck down and maybe make a move or something to try and, deke the goalie out. None of that. It's just, I'm going to get the puck and I'm going to quickly fire it, put it on the net. And it worked because the goalie for Calgary was not ready for it. Because you see him, the way he was positioned for a different shot. Like the Blue Jackets were going to shoot it in a different part of the ice. And as soon as the puck gets over to Charlie Coyle, he's kind of out of position. He's not ready for it. Charlie Coyle quickly shoots, scores. So, and it was an awesome pass by Jake Christensen to set that goal up. So good first period. Second period it started out good. The Blue Jackets had some good positive momentum there. They had some chances to score. They just couldn't put it away. And then Calgary scores 2 goals on the power play. And it's just the first power play, the first 2 tries, awesome, because Calgary gets the puck in the offensive zone and you don't even give them a chance to set something up to the point to where they can shoot it. You don't give them that chance because you get the puck and you get it out, shoot it down to the other side of the ice. Awesome. And then the third time, Calgary gets it in, and eventually they shoot and score because you can't get it out. And there was basically no defense in front of the net. You just allowed Calgary to just stand there in front of the net and just jam it in there. You can't do that. That was very lazy. bad defense, and it costed you. And then again, you give up another goal on the power play, where again, you basically have no defense in front of the net, and you let Calgary just jam it in there for another goal. And then that did give Calgary some momentum. They started to play better, but it's like it didn't have to be like that because they had nothing. Nothing. You were playing a good game. You were dominating. The analytics back this up too, not just the eye test. And then you give them 2 freebies. Like, you can't do that. That's just not good. So overall, second period, 1 out of 10. We go to the third period. Again, it's kind of a similar story. Blue Jackets, they start off pretty good. They get a big goal from Zach Werenski on the power play. And again, Werenski, puck's on net, shoot, score. No screwing around, no BS. Just put the puck on the net. That's what he did. He gets the puck, shoot, score. No BS. And then again, another power play goal for Calgary. Like you can't do that. You can't. This is the one example where the Blue Jackets gave up 3 power play goals and they won. This is probably the only time that you can say that the Blue Jackets won a game where they gave up 3 power play goals. You just can't do that. You just can't. So it's tied up at 3. And then towards the end, again, Kent Johnson, good play, hits a dude in the Blue Jackets offensive zone. Puck pops loose. He gets the puck, and then he quickly passes it to Boone Jenner. And Boone Jenner, again, shoot, score. No BS. No overpassing. Just get the puck to the net. And again, it worked. Then we go to the 5th goal that Charlie Coyle scored. Calgary pulls the net, pulls their goalie. Charlie Coyle, again, no BS, just shoot and score. Put it in the net. Blue Jackets win. Elvis Merzlikins was pretty good. He made some big saves to keep him in the game. I'm not really blaming any of those goals on him because you kind of hung him out to dry. But overall, pretty good game there for the Blue Jackets, minus giving up the 3 goals. 7 out of 10. Nicely done, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I'll give him a pretty high grade on this one. The unfortunate reality of some of these goals was just what we were talking about earlier this season. We all talk about the coaching bump. People talk about, oh, when you switch a coach, this is going to happen. You'll get that bit of a bump. You'll do a little bit better for a while. There could be many possible reasons for it. I think one of the things for it is a bit of relief from a team if they were having maybe communication issues or something of the like. And they're just able to relax and play more, just have a little more fun with it, be a little bit more relaxed out there on the ice, and maybe that's part of it. But one thing that's still, it's gotten better, but they gave up, every goal that they gave up this game was on the penalty kill. So they did get one back on the power play, but just kind of throwing that one out there. So if you stay out of the box, you don't have to kill a penalty. And those 3 goals wouldn't happen. Penalties are going to happen. That's the way she goes. First period, there wasn't any on the Blue Jackets or the Flames. Second period, I want to talk a little bit about the Boone Jenner Rasmus Anderson fight. So this was one of those tilts that kind of starts out of a scrum, which is not quite as common, it seems, anymore. I feel like a lot of fights generally are like very like agreed upon, like 2 people like even up, face each other, gloves off, circling, and then go for it. But some fights are born out of actual real frustration boiling over during a scrum or during play. And so good on Boone Jenner, the captain. He's got to get out there and show that heart sometimes. As the captain, it's, your duty to defend your teammates, although I think he was sticking up for himself here. And then because of who it was, they decided to kind of go at it a little bit. Personally, I'm gonna put my vote in the Boone Jenner got the better of this by points. The fight, I mean. So he got in like 3 good little jabs there that really would have put more damage on Anderson. Anderson got 1 good hit in, and then like he looked like he kind of fell and like brought the whole fight down to the ground, which some people count like a takedown kind of as like part of winning the fight. Maybe if you're the winner, if you're winning it, and then you just have mercy on him and just hug him and take him down. I don't know. I think Boone got the best on this one. I'm a little biased, but he got more hits. Anyway, yeah. So this was bonus debut. Obviously we weren't going to see like too many probably crazy like insane changes, especially since they won the Utah game before this. So yeah, stupid penalty, too many men on the ice. That was where one of the power play goals came from in the end of the second period. So stupid penalties. That's got to be more on players. Like, get off and get on. Like, what are you doing? You're pros. But shit happens. Boone Jenner coming back with the game-winning goal. Then, absolute awesome. It's under 2 minutes left in the third period. Delivered. Then Charlie Coyle. Coyle's been really standing out a little bit here lately. I mean, he's always been known to be a quality player, but here lately, I just feel like he's really been stepping up good. And let's see. So that was the second and final meeting of the Blue Jackets and Calgary Flames. They will not meet each other anymore this year. Their season series is tied 1-1. The first meeting, the Blue Jackets lost 5-1 in Calgary, and Calgary lost 5-3 in Columbus this time. So overall, I'll agree with your 7 out of 10. You either don't get the penalties or you shore up that penalty kill a little bit, and it's just easy 9 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
But gotta knock it down a few for that.
Yep. All right, on to the next game. The Blue Jackets get a big win against the Vancouver Canucks. The Blue Jackets beat the Vancouver Canucks 4-1. Definitely one of the better games they played all season long. They were playing such a good game. It's definitely one of the better games they played all season long. And I was so ready to give that a 10 out of 10. I was there. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be the first ever 10 out of 10 game I get to talk about on the show. This is going to be cool. This is going to be great. And then you gave up the goal. It's like, well, can't do that. All right, 9 out of 10. That's just how it is. You just can't do that. So, first period, definitely one of the better periods you played there. So you get 2 goals. Or no, I'm gonna look this up off the top of my head here, so I know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right. So we're gonna put this up on the screen here. Hang on. So you get in that game. You get goals from Charlie Coyle, Kirill Marchenko, Zach Werenski, and Kent Johnson. It was just awesome. I just love it. First period was good. Second period, you gave up the goal there. It was Third period, much better. You get a goal from Kent Johnson, make it 4-1. And I'm not blaming Elvis Merzlikins on that goal. I'm just not, because again, you don't get it out. You don't get it out. It's lazy, bad penalty killing. You don't get it out, and you get scored on. You leave Elvis Merzlikins, out to dry. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. So overall, it was a pretty, definitely a better game. Definitely one of the better games you have played all season long. 9 out of 10. This is a pretty good game. I'm, big fan of that. So pretty good game. I got some more thoughts on that later. We'll get Hefty Duck in here.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna explain my reasoning here as I talk a little bit about it. And otherwise, this was an amazing game. It more or less has to do with their track record, and that track record being what I was just talking about with last game, and that is giving up goals on the penalty kill. If you either didn't get the penalty or you killed the penalty, it would have been a 0. Would have been a shutout. Would have been a shutout. But shit happens. It was just a dumb, what was that, a hooking penalty? In the middle of the second period. Yeah, hooking from Connor Garland, or Marchenko on Connor Garland. Anyway, like I said, shit's going to happen the way she goes. But Blue Jackets capitalizing on the power play that night, I guess. That was huge. They were 2 for 2 on the power play. Makes a big difference. Merzlikins had a .968 save percentage, let in 1 out of 31 shots. One thing with the game before this, as well as this game, Blue Jackets were ripping a ton of shots. I think in the Calgary game, let me reopen those stats real quick so I can just tell you. They had something like 43 shots on goal. So that's not including attempts. I'm sure that was part of the game plan. I'm sure of it. That if there's any sort of coaching thing that I think was probably said, it was just rip them. Just fucking rip them, dude. Just try it. Just like what Kevin was talking about earlier about the passing just a few too many times. Like, it's great. I love seeing some of the great passing. And in fact, in this Vancouver game, there was some very good passing early on in the game. And that's when you could tell, like, oh, the boys are on – they're on tonight. Like, they're all synced up. Chemistry's going. Juiced off that last win. New coach, new vibe in the locker room. So you could tell they were humming here. Man, they had so many shots on goal, so many chances like early on in the game, but it wasn't until Coyle got that power play goal to really start getting the game moving along a little bit. Excuse me. Ugh. I don't like yawning on camera. So, yeah, Coyle is just so good altogether. This whole last few games really been standing out. All 3 games standing out. Last 3 ones.
Yeah.
Showing off skill. Looks like they're having fun out there a little bit for this game. It's the second game under bonus. I was reading where he is putting an emphasis on like having a good time, having fun out there. Because it really looked like that they weren't. I mean, obviously winning is going to be more fun than losing, duh. But even still, finding those moments, that's what can help create chemistry out on the ice. And we noticed a little bit of line change-ups here and there too. We'll talk about that after the games, after we done with the next game too, because there's been some mix-ups here and there, and I don't. It's been working. Well, I'm trying to blur it out before we get there. I'll wait. I'll wait till after the Pittsburgh game we talk about it. So on the 1 goal they gave up, and this is why it's an 8 out of 10, is because I was literally just bitching about the penalty kill. It's been generally pretty good, but it's like they go on streaks with it. It's like it'll be good for like 5 games, then it'll be like shit for 5 games. And those 2 games, it was just kind of rough. So what ended up happening with this goal, I'm not going to bring it up and show it. But what ended up happening was their formation collapsed. They were doing like the 1-2-1 formation. They collapsed into if they're on the defensive side, like looking forward on the defensive side, their right wing collapsed in too far, which left the guy open at like more the path to the pass. The guy who was open on top of the defensive zone rip a shot, and that's what ended up happening. Lose your formation. They ended up almost like a 1-3, which was just not where you're supposed to be. And yeah, if you're interested in more of that kind of talk, I've been talking a little bit about that the last 2 podcasts. Check it out about the formations during the penalty kill and like the defense and how they could possibly rectify this a little bit. This comes down to it's less of a skill thing. I feel like it's almost more of an experience thing. It's a brains thing. You can stick anyone out there who is good in who is a professional hockey player, and if they are in the right place at the right time, it's a lot easier to do the right thing. So anyway, that's all I saw with the power play goal. They collapsed, so it's annoying to see time after time after time. So that's all. Then that one goal too, like that's not Elvis's fault. It like rolled and like ramped up his body. It was really weird. He had a piece on it. He had every chance to stop that goal, and he was on it. I mean, fluke. Otherwise, he would have blocked it easy. What a weird one. But overall, good game. Good game. Good goal. Next.
Yeah. So the thing about the Charlie Coyle goal that I like is that I really like about this is, again, it's direct, put the puck on the net, no messing around. But so he had the puck. He's a right-handed shot on the left side of the net, and he's kind of right by the net. And in today's world in hockey, it's more common that if you see a guy that has the puck and he's by the side of the net, that 9 times out of 10, you're going to try and pass the puck somewhere else. Whether that means across the crease to try and get it to a guy who's open on the other side, or maybe you pass it behind the net, maybe you pass it back up high towards the point, whatever. And so goalies pick up on that. And Charlie Coyle actually used that to his advantage, where he kind of made it look like he was going to pass it, and then at the last moment pulled the puck and then like a little backhand shot quickly into the net, because the goalie for Vancouver, Kevin Lankinen, saw that and like, oh, he's going to pass it. So then like he set it up to where he was going to make it harder to basically make that pass. And then when he did that, he kind of moved, and then that opened a little spot in the net for Charlie Coyle to quickly pull that puck back and then shoot it. And it was just an awesome play that he did that. So that was good. And the thing I'm going to play this goal later on in the show, but the thing that I like about the goal that Kirill Marchenko scored, that was in the second period, because they had a 2-goal second period. Because it was Kirill Marchenko, Zach Werenski that got the goals. But the thing I like what Kirill Marchenko did is that is a goal that he was not going to be denied on that, because he out-hustled the Vancouver defense. He outworked them. It's a puck battle along the boards, and Kirill Marchenko just kind of gives the dude a little hit, and he outworks him, gets the puck, and then he just skates towards the net and just shoots it. He was not going to be denied on that one, no matter how hard Vancouver tried. It just wasn't going to work out. Just awesome effort to win the puck battle along the boards, get the puck, and then just shoot and score. It was awesome. I like that. And again, What do I like about the Zach Werenski goal that he scored? It was on the power play. But again, there was no overpassing BS. I'm just going to say it. I hate that. I hate that when you do that overpassing BS. It's pass, 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 pass. And then you're trying to find the perfect play, and then you get nothing. Or it gets picked off. It goes the other way, and then you get nothing. They didn't do that. Yes, the Blue Jackets did pass the puck to kind of help set things up. But it was like one or two passes, and then Zach Werenski gets the puck, and he shoots the puck. No screwing around, no BS, not looking for another perfect play. No, I'm going to get the puck, and I'm going to shoot it. Score. I like it. And again, when the Blue Jackets get the goal from Kent Johnson in the third period, it's the same idea. You know, Boone Jenner, he has the puck in the offensive zone, and he passes it to Kent Johnson, and Kent Johnson, again, just put it on the net. Shoot that puck, put it on the net. And again, it worked. Shoot, score. That's what I liked it in the game against Utah. I liked it in the game against Calgary, and I like it in the game against Vancouver. And I liked it in the game against Pittsburgh, which we'll talk about. But in the last 4 games that the Blue Jackets have played in, they have had a more direct approach in the offensive zone. Put the puck on the net, shoot the puck. And they're being rewarded for it, for more by getting more goals. Pucks on net, shoot the puck, and they're doing that, and I'm liking that. So overall, pretty good game there for the Blue Jackets.
Pretty good game.
All right, on to the next game. The Blue Jackets get a big win against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh by beating the Pittsburgh Penguins by a score of 4-3 in a shootout. That is also a 7 out of 10 game for me because you give up 3 goals. That's my general thing. Like 7 out of 10 if you win is like the default score. That's it. You know, obviously if you lose, it's lower than that. But if you win, 7 out of 10 is the default score. If you want like 8 or 9 or 10, like you got to limit the mistakes. But you give up 3 goals, so it's a 7. But the first period started out pretty good for the Blue Jackets. You're playing a good game, had some good shifts in the offensive zone. And again, continuing with the theme, Zach Werenski has the puck. He shoots. He doesn't get it. But Zach Aston Reese gets it on the rebound. Shoots and scores. Again, more direct on the net, shoot the puck. Zach Werenski didn't get it, but Zach Aston Reese gets it on the rebound. The Blue Jackets are up 1-0. They're playing a good game. And then it just kind of went down the toilet after that. The rest of the first period was god-awful, just terrible. And it just comes down to this. Pittsburgh scores 2 goals because you have bad turnovers in the defensive zone, and then you can't get it out, and then Pittsburgh shoots and scores. Like those are preventable goals right there. If you're just better puck management, you're better with the puck, and you get it out, you don't have to worry about that. But unfortunately, the Blue Jackets didn't do that, and now it's in the back of your net, and now you're down 2-1. So we go to the second period. Much better second period. They played a good game. And eventually, they get a big goal from Kirill Marchenko to make it 2-2. And again, that goal that Kirill Marchenko scored was very similar to the one he scored against Vancouver, where there's a kind of a puck battle along the boards. Kirill Marchenko wins it. He gets the puck. And then he just kind of just quickly goes to the net, blows by the Pittsburgh defense, and just shoots and scores. The goalie for Pittsburgh had no chance. Awesome goal for the Blue Jackets. Awesome shot by Kirill Marchenko. Later on in the second period, again, Eric Branson has the puck. He's up high by the point, shoots it, and then the puck bounces off Denton Heinen's stick into the net. And again, much like every of these last 4 games that the Blue Jackets have played, they've continued the theme of more direct in the offensive zone. Shoot the puck, put the puck on the net. And they continue that trend. Again, rewarded. So good second period. One of the best second periods he played all season long. We go to the third period. And honestly, that was a 9 out of 10 third period because you played a real good game there. Your defense, for the most part, was good. You really didn't give the Penguins much to shoot at. But this is why it's 9 out of 10. Now, in the end, this doesn't matter as much because the Blue Jackets win. But Adam Fantilli gets a chance to make it 4-2. He doesn't put it away. And eventually, towards the end of the game, Pittsburgh pulls the goalie. They shoot and score. If Fantilli puts that away, Pittsburgh is still down 1 goal, and they still have to pull their goalie again. But they probably don't get it because it was so late in the game when they scored. Just a little over a minute to go. But because you don't put that chance away, it's 3-3. And another mistake on that is every team has a guy that you do not want them having the puck at all. They're going to get their chances, but you got to try your best to make sure that guy does not have the puck. For Pittsburgh, that guy is Sidney Crosby. Under any circumstance, you cannot let Sidney Crosby have the puck. You cannot, because if he does, he's going to shoot and score. And that's what happened. You let Crosby have the puck, he's open on like the back side of the net, shoots and scores. You just can't do that. Because the thing was, that was one of the better, minus giving up the goal. That was one of the better 6-on-5 defense that I've seen from the Blue Jackets this season. Because the Penguins got some chances, but for the most part, they didn't really have nothing to shoot at. And they're just kind of looking for that play to try and get it there. And then you leave Crosby open, and you just can't do that. You just can't do that. And that hurts you. And that's why it had to go to overtime. And so we go to overtime. And honestly, that was a 1 out of 10 overtime. For the most part, the Blue Jackets were god-awful, just terrible. Because Pittsburgh had most of the chances. There were times where the Blue Jackets couldn't get it out of their defensive zone, so Pittsburgh was just teeing off on Elvis Merzlikins, getting shot after shot. And realistically, looking back on it, that the Blue Jackets should have lost that game in overtime because they were just that bad. But you know what? Elvis Merzlikins made some big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. And, the Blue Jackets, they do have their chances in overtime. They don't put it away. But a big reason why you are where you are in winning that game is because of Elvis Merzlikins making those big saves in overtime to keep you in the game. That's a big reason why you win that game. And then we go to a shootout where the Blue Jackets magic continues because for whatever reason, the Blue Jackets are really good at shootouts. They are 5-1 in shootouts this season. The last 13 shootouts that the Blue Jackets have played in, the Blue Jackets are 11-2 in those 13 shootouts. And their magic again shows up. Elvis Merzlikins, again, for whatever reason, he's really good in shootouts, and that showed up again. When you need to get a big goal in the shootout, the Blue Jackets got it done. They got 2 big goals from Kent Johnson and Charlie Coyle, who gets the game-winning goal in the shootout. When you needed a big save in the shootout, Elvis Merzlikins was there to get it done. So overall, that's a pretty good game there that the Blue Jackets played, minus giving up the 7 goals. And, you know, their shootout magic continues where they're really good in shootouts. So overall, pretty good game there, minus giving up the 3 goals. That is a 7 out of 10 for me. Nicely done, Blue Jackets. Good game.
Yeah, pretty solid game overall. Yeah, I kind of gotta agree with that. Like the 7 out of 10 thing, like that's pretty much for a win. Like above a 5 is pretty much for a win, like a 6 or up. 6s are really rare because oftentimes if you play shitty enough for a 6, you probably lost.
Yeah.
And a 7 out of 10 loss is way different than a 7 out of 10 win.
Yeah.
Very, very rare. Anyway, so yeah, a couple people showing out pretty big on this game. Let me find my note here. Fabro's out. Yeah, left Sidney Crosby like wide open, but it was also like a really good shot. Sorry, I'm dealing with something kind of distracting at the moment. Yeah, so did you notice that Veronica was playing on the 4th line?
Yeah.
This is what I was going to talk about kind of at the end of the last game, but I figured it'd be more appropriate after this game. Heinen got moved up. I think he was on the 3rd line at that point. You know, I mean, having Heinen on that line scored a goal in the 2nd period.
Yeah.
He did good. And then Charlie Coyle with that shootout goal, man, absolutely killer. Love to see it. Let me find my notes here. The Pens have 7 shootout losses.
Yeah.
The Blue Jackets are tied with the most shootout wins with 5, and that's with Philadelphia and the Ducks.
Yeah.
So, you know, going into this, the Blue Jackets definitely had the advantage by a lot. I think they've had one shootout loss this whole season.
Yep.
And that's just the way she goes. So it's Kirill Marchenko's first shootout miss of the season too. He is now, I believe, 5-1. Fantilli has rarely missed too.
Oh, he's not. The last 3 times the Blue Jackets have been in a shootout, he's missed, and it's just like.
Oh yeah, he's 1-4 for the season. Sorry, it was Kent Johnson. I was thinking Johnson's 4-1 for the season. So, and Coyle is 2 for 2.
Yeah.
So Coyle's still at 100%. You know, even with the 2 shots. So big win, divisional rival series and all that. Pretty awesome. Oh, okay, there we go. Cool beans. All right, so yeah, 7 out of 10 win, good win. Could have been better, could have been a lot better. At least you didn't give up any on the power play. It's fantastic. Penalty kill was great tonight. Pens were over 3, Jackets were over 2. You know, the Jackets didn't get quite as many shots on goal as they had in previous contests here, the past 3 before that. Sorry, my brain is somewhere else at the moment. So sorry, I'm remedying this real quick. But yeah, no surprise that Sid the Kid gets that tying goal. Penalties were a bit stupid here and there. The second period mostly. First period, third period, we're all about pretty even, but that's the way it's gonna go. They were really good in OT. Let's talk about the viral moment from Elvis Merzlikins now, and that is taking a drink of water during OT with Zach Werenski has the puck going behind the net. I mean, I understand why he did it. Well, okay, so one, they were leaving Malkin like open to just fucking shell him right there. Okay,
Yeah.
what? Excuse me, Malkin? Like seriously, you can't. There's a couple players on the Penguins that you cannot leave open.
He's one of them.
Now, one of them being Chinikov. It seems like he's fit in pretty well there. He seems to be having a good time, which is good for him because it just wasn't clicking here. Wasn't clicking. Who knows? Maybe with different coaching, maybe he'll do better. Who knows? Anyway, I saw him in so in the shootout. Chinikov did make a goal on Merzlikins. Merzlikins was quoted as saying he didn't know what he was going to do because normally when he played him in practice and did that in practice, he always came from the other side of the ice. So Chinikov knows that Elvis knows him really, really well. It's probably why they put him out there to take that shot. And so he switched it up on him, got around it. And afterwards, they were Chinikov gave him like a little bit of a bump. And I guess Elvis said something along the lines of, you already scored. What's with the extra bump? And they were laughing about it. They were smiling about it. The refs weren't so sure about that. So, yeah, just some funny shit. Love to see the guys out there having some fun. Like I said, wins make it easier to have fun, but damn good game, boys. So, is there anything more you want to talk about this game? Because this kind of leads me into my next thing.
Well, I just say, if you look at 3 games, small sample size, but if you look at how Rick Bowness has the Blue Jackets playing, he wants them to be more aggressive, more fast. The difference it's in a smart way, though. They're not being stupid about it, because there's fast and aggressive where it's not strategically smart. You're too fast for your own good. You're skating yourself out of position. It's like, metaphorically speaking, chicken with their head cut off. You're just all over the place and you're just doing whatever, which is something that Adam Fantilli was doing last season. And that's something that Dean Evison and the coaching staff sat him down and said, like, you can't do this because you're hurting yourself and the team when you do this. Because he had this, like, Adam Fantilli still has this. He still has this go, 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 go attitude where he's ready to go, and he wants to be a difference maker and make that next big play. But you got to do it in a smart way, strategically. And as soon as they told him about that, he wasn't doing that anymore. He was much better. And it's the same thing of what Rick Bowness wants, is like, push the pace, be fast, be aggressive, pressure, 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 go after them. But do it in a smart way. If one guy goes, everyone has to go. Not this one guy goes and everyone stays back. Like, if one guy goes, everyone has to go. Be smart about it. And I'd say for the most part that's what they've done. They've done that. And you brought up earlier on in the show where it's like, oh, Dmitry Voronkov, a guy, for the most part, with his time with the Blue Jackets, has been a first-line, second-line guy, and he's been good in that role. He's earned it. But why would he be playing lower in the lineup, whether it be, third-line or fourth-line minutes? And it's this. There are many things that you can like about Dmitry Voronkov. He's big, 6'5", 230. He's got some physicality to him. He's hard to play against, kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, let's just call it as. If you're 6'5", 230, have fun playing against that. It's not going to go well for you. The dude, underrated shot. He can shoot it, but where he really shines as net front presence, he's a really good guy in front of the net. the goals that he can score in front of the net is very few people on the Blue Jackets can do what he can do. Where essentially all you have to do is just put it on the net. And if Voronkhov's there, more likely than not, he's probably going to score, whether it be like a deflection or you pass the puck to him and he shoots and scores, or a dirty, greasy goal in front of the net where he just jams it in there. He's perfect for that. He's got soft hands. He can do a little passing. Like, that's good. But the one thing, and he's getting better about this, but it's still kind of an issue, is that because he's a bigger dude, 6'5", 230, that sometimes he's a little slow. And that can hold you back. If you got some issues with him, some skating in today's world in hockey, that's not good. Because a lot more people in today's world are much more faster. They put more effort into their skating. Doesn't matter who you are. It could be first line, second line, third line, fourth line. A lot of these guys are now better at skating. And if you're not very good at skating, teams can blow right past you. And essentially, even though you have 5 guys on the ice, it becomes 5-on-4 because teams know that you can blow past a guy and use that to your advantage. And that, at least for now, that's probably why he's playing, fourth line minutes right now, is to cut down on some of that potential issues of his, potential, skating / lack of speed that he may have. So that's what it is. Now, he still may very, very well get some of those first line, second line minutes, and I'm definitely, power play, definitely putting them there on the power play for that net front presence that he's really good at. But I can see why for now he's probably playing fourth line minutes, because if you're Rick Bowness and your thing is you want to be aggressive and you want to, pressure, pusher, and push the pace and just continue to just go after guys and just find a way to get that puck and then go put it in the offensive zone and just pressure, put it on the net, skate. That could be an issue. So I could see why he's fourth line.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to ask you about. Now I'm blanking.
Okay.
But all right, we done talking about that game?
Yes.
Cool beans. All right, so just to launch into our next thing here, like I said, this was kind of segueing into it. Blue Jackets have won 4 out of their last 5 games. That is not necessarily any sort of sorry, I keep getting so distracted for a second. I gotta throw my phone back here. So there's 34 games left in the NHL season for the Blue Jackets. The most games played by anyone so far is the Detroit Red Wings with 50. The least amount of games played so far. Edmonton Oilers have 50 as well. Least amount of games played so far is the Colorado Avalanche with 46, which is wild because of how far ahead they are in points, and they have played at least one less game than anyone else in the NHL. Wild. So how the point standings look right now. You have the Colorado Avalanche are way at the top, far above everyone else, 10 points in front of the nearest person. Then you have the Vancouver Canucks way at the bottom, 7 points behind the Winnipeg Jets for like the dead last of last places. And so let's talk about where Columbus is at in all this. Columbus Blue Jackets are 22, 19, and 7 for 51 points. So they currently have a .531 points percentage. So they're playing better than .500 hockey. It's fantastic. The majority of teams are right now. There's like 6 teams who aren't. This does make for kind of a weird conversation, though, because we're talking about points percentage and number of points. And we can look around. If we sort by points percentage, we can go see a certain team that has 52 points. It's a 553. That's the Philadelphia Flyers. And they're above the Caps and the Mammoth because the points percentage is higher by 0.002%. Or 0.002. It is 8%. So just something interesting to note here. The Blue Jackets are by far not out of the running. They're far back from, they're 23 points back from first place. Yeah, well, the next guy after first place is 74 points for the Avalanche, 64 for the Lightning and the Canes. It's well known. It's well documented. It's obvious to see it by just the standings, too, that the East is a little more harder than the West is going to be as far as the divisions and how it's split. And I don't know if that's by design or if that's just kind of how things started. It's, I don't know, where hockey's most popular, I imagine. So the Blue Jackets currently have played 48 games and they have 51 points out of a possible 96. That's impossible. That's pretty much impossible. But I literally, you get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. So if you win 48 games straight, you're going to end up with 96 points. The Colorado Avalanche have only lost. Well, they have 8 overtime losses, but they only have 5 regular time losses. The 33, 5, and 8. Are you shitting me? That's insane to me. Anyway, yeah, the average points total in the NHL right now. The New York Rangers, who are last in the Metropolitan, have 48 points. The Blue Jackets had been lower than them until this recent win streak. They're now 3 points ahead of last place in the East. In the Metro in the East. So with 51 points, there are 2 teams that have a higher points percentage that have the same amount of points than the Blue Jackets, and that's the Seattle Kraken and the San Jose Sharks. Because of how the West is and how amazing Colorado is and how shitty Vancouver is. It's quite the difference, quite the jump here. It's crazy to me the wild differences between the conferences. But yeah, so 51 points is not out of the running. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I can't count. 1, 2, 3. There's 6 teams in the NHL right now with 51 points. There's 2 teams with 50. There's 1 team with 52, 1 team with 53, and the 54 points are ranked or currently are tied for like 14th. Yeah, the Caps and the Mammoth have 54 points each, 13, 14, 15, 16. I can't count for shit, dude. I don't know. It's late. Okay. So what I'm getting at, my whole point, all this rambling is literally just to say the Blue Jackets are still in it. It's not far gone. To me, the coaching change with Rick Bowness stepping in now has literally been because the front office, Don Waddell, believe in this team for this season yet. This isn't a next season thing. They're attempting to make the playoffs this season. That's why the experienced players have come in. That's why Don Waddell hasn't given up players for nothing. But that's why someone like Chinakhov, who a very talented player, was kind of one of Yarmo's pet projects that never panned out for the Blue Jackets. He might pan out somewhere else, but that's why he's not necessarily afraid to wheel and deal someone like that. Whereas prior to that, when Yarmo was in there, to me, it would be really hard to see someone that talented and kind of come like with an out of the blue pick, so to speak. It's kind of like everyone was shocked that they chose that pick for Chinakhov. Have you noticed he dropped the Y since going to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so here's the thing about that is this it's not just a Chinikov thing, it's just a Russian thing in general, is because of this. The way people spell their name in Russia is different compared to how people spell their name in America. This has happened when the Blue Jackets had Sergei Bobrovsky and Artemi Panarin. So in America, in English, so in English, Sergei Bobrovsky's last name ends in a Y, but in Russian, his name ends in an I. It's the same thing for Artemi Panarin. In English, his first name ends in an I, so Artemi, but in Russian, his name ends with a Y. And it's the same thing with Yegor Chinikov. In English, his name starts with a Y. In Russian, his name starts with an E. And so that's why that happened, is that Chinikov, when he went to Pittsburgh, asked the Penguins that he wants his name to be spelled like it is in Russia than compared to America. So Chinikov now has his Russian name with the E compared to his English name with the Y.
Yeah, and I could totally understand why after coming to the Blue Jackets, like not wanting to change it while you're here, but you go somewhere new where they're getting new equipment, new everything. Like, yeah, suddenly, like you have the opportunity to do that. So, he's probably everything was probably labeled with the way they spelled it here that way or something. So, anyway, I just thought that was a funny little tidbit there. But yeah, the change with the front office that shows that they still believe in this team for this season. That's something that did I just throw my notes away? Yeah, no, they're right here. So yeah, for that reason, I mean, I the Blue Jackets are definitely still in the running here. That's why Rick Bowness is here. So let's see if not just that kind of typical what they call coaching bump, but the actual coaching changes will make a difference. It's hard to say yet because it's been a total sample size of 3 games. It's not enough to really judge someone, but Rick Bowness is a very experienced coach. It seemed to be that Don Waddell, with the team in general, has been valuing experience and size as 2 of the biggest factors of the people he's been picking up and getting, and that tended to work out pretty well for the Hurricanes in the long run for the most part. They were always a very solid, contentious team. And with Brind'Amour behind the bench, that's one of the fantastic coaches. I'd love to see him literally in the Blue Jackets, but I think he's Canes man for life till he's out of there. But anyway. Yeah, so there are 34 games left. That means that there are 68 points up for grabs yet. And not a single team other than the Colorado Avalanche has more than 68 points at this very moment. So I don't know what the odds are. I haven't looked at Money Puck, but the odds are
definitely better than what it used to be.
Yeah. There's one more thing I want to talk about too before we get to some other, like maybe some more fun stuff too. And it's got to come up because he's played so well recently. Elvis Merzlikins and the goaltending, quote unquote, issue the Blue Jackets have. Okay, right now, I've been talking about NHL stats. Okay, I've been talking about all this shit. So we're comparing the average of the Blue Jackets to the rest of the entire NHL to show you like where they're at, to try to convince you that it's not as bad as things seem. The ship is not going down. The ship's not necessarily like going tip top fast. You know, they're not the Wild. They're not the Avalanche. You know, they're not the Wild. They're not the Lightning yet. So, I mean, realistically, they're 10 points out from, I think, those teams roughly. Let's look at the save percentage across the board for the entire NHL. The best save percentage in the NHL is the Colorado Avalanche with a 915. Okay, of course they're going to be first. The goals against the Avalanche are also at the very bottom of that. They have 106 goals against. The next closest to that is 118. So they are having a phenomenal season over there. Good luck, Gavin Brindley. You know, good on you for being over there. Anyway, so there's some teams tied here for certain places. 915, then it drops to the Wild and the Islanders have a 905, 904, 901, 900, 900. So there's a couple teams that are tied here. So this puts the Blue Jackets at 893. They're tied with the New York Rangers. As far as save percentage goes, this puts them at 15th. That is right in the very, very center middle of the pack. So yes, they're not the Avalanche. But no, they're not the Senators. They're not the Panthers. Let's talk about that for a second. The Panthers, who do they got right now? They got two former Blue Jackets goaltenders. And what's happening? Granted, one of those guys I would have back in a heartbeat. I would take Sergei Bobrovsky almost no matter the cost. But you know, we see Tarasov down there now. I haven't been paying attention. I don't know exactly how he's doing. I'm just looking at the Florida Panthers at 31 in save percentage with 874. 874. Blue Jackets are at 893. So they're right in the middle of the pack for that. The Blue Jackets have not had a single shutout this whole year yet. Is that for or against? That's against, right?
Yeah, I don't think
they're for.
No,
they have not shut anyone out this season yet. Yeah, because the third periods have been fucking atrocious.
Sorry,
because they've been close. They've been so close so many times. I mean, they should have had that Vancouver one. So, save percentage 893, right in the middle of the pack. Shots against. The Blue Jackets have the second most shots against them. What does that mean? Oh, if they're ripping 1,486 shots against the goalkeeper, and he's saving has a save percentage of 89%. How many goals does that let in? That lets in like 100. Actually, I have the exact number for that. 159 goals. I knew it was somewhere around there. So like that's part of it. You cannot talk about the Columbus goaltending without talking about the amount of shots being allowed to be taken on the goaltender. I mean, the overtime was a perfect example of that the other night. Elvis stood on his fucking head to keep that puck out of the net. That's why he needed a drink of water when the play was still going on. That's part of why he did it. He was probably thirsty as hell. He was probably worn out. And he's like, oh, Werenski has the puck. He's not going to lose it. I have confidence in him. I'm thirsty. I'm taking this drink. That's why he was dead tired. I guarantee he was dead tired. And that's what we were seeing, I think, happen with Jet Greaves, too. He was getting shelled, and, I mean, he was getting tired. You know, it's interesting how many more games Elvis has played since the coaching change. I mean, played more since the coaching change than he did in, like, half the month of December.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the other thing I want to get at then, too, so we're having shots against. It's massive. Save percentage, middle of the pack. So let's talk about goals against then. So with goals against, keep in mind the save percentage is in the middle. The goals against, the Blue Jackets are the 8th worst team in the NHL with 159 goals. The Preds and Canadiens are close with 160, 161. The Maple Leafs are slightly better with 157. The Panthers and Oilers have 155 each. And these are all some pretty quality teams with quality goaltenders. But if you're letting them take almost 1,500 shots, like the Maple Leafs, they have the most shots on goal against, and that is 1,506. That's insane. They're the only ones that have more than the Blue Jackets, I think. Yeah. So let's talk about then how good is Merzlikins doing with all these things considered? Because we can look at the stats, and the stats will tell you the exactly how good he is doing, but it does not tell you the full story behind what is going on and why that save percentage might be lower, because they're getting 1.5 million shots ripped on them. They're getting, they're getting shelled out there. Absolutely freaking shelled. And I'll tell you what, the goals for the Blue Jackets, I mean, they're dead in the middle of the pack. They're 19th right now. So I feel like they're not producing as much as last year.
No.
And I think that is part of the whole being a tie situation so many times, as opposed to being just winning the game.
Yeah.
In the third periods, it sucked so bad too. So with the goaltending percentage, with the shots against, goals against, saves, all that shit considered, what do you think about Elvis Merzlikins comparing the two goaltenders that we have, Merzlikins and Jack Greaves?
Well, if you've paid attention to the Blue Jackets the last 2 seasons, you would know that Elvis Merzlikins has been way better than what he used to be. And that's just a fact. And, look, we've said this on the show many times, but the truth is that Elvis Merzlikins is what he is. Is that, yeah, he's going to have a game where he's terrible, and he lets in a goal or two that he shouldn't, but he does it anyway. But then at the same time, he's going to have a game where he's really good, where he makes a big save or two to keep the Blue Jackets in the game, and then eventually the Blue Jackets win that game, in part because of Elvis Merzlikins. There are games that the Blue Jackets win because of Elvis Merzlikins. He's a big reason why. There are games where Elvis Merzlikins takes over the game and the Blue Jackets win that game. And again, like we've said time and time again, for whatever reason, it's great to see, but Elvis Merzlikins is really good at shootouts. The Blue Jackets are now 11-2 in the last 13 shootouts that the Blue Jackets have played in. And Elvis Merzlikins is a big reason why the Blue Jackets are where they are right now in regards to shootouts, where you are 11-2 in the last 13 shootouts that you've played in. So he's been way better the last 2 seasons. This past season when the Blue Jackets were not expected to be that good, but they were that good. They did way better than expected. There are many reasons for that. Dean Evison did a good coaching job. The offense, the Blue Jackets were really good on offense. They could score goals. Top 10 in scoring, and they were the best team at 5-on-5 when it comes to scoring goals during that season. And another reason why they were where they were, because of Elvis Merzlikins. He did way better than expected. He won, as Don Waddell said, he won more than he lost. Did better than expected, which is true. And so all about that. And again, 3 games, small sample size. But seeing what we're seeing now, which is we're not seeing it and much shenanigans. The defense has been better, and then you're not just, other than that overtime period against Pittsburgh, you're not really seeing goalies for the Blue Jackets just getting teed on, where it's just pressure, and just shot after shot after shot after shot. Yes, 3 games, small sample size, but that does make a difference. It does make a difference for the goalies, so that they're not so tired. They're a lot more fresher. It does make a difference, and it is making a difference for Elvis Merzlikins. We are seeing the more good Elvis Merzlikins. We need more of that. It's just a consistency thing. Sometimes he's bad, sometimes he's good, but when he's good, he's good. He takes over a game, and he's good in shootouts, And it's the big reason why the Blue Jackets win a game, in part because of him. Now, I want to see what Jet Greaves can do now under a different coach. So whether that means he starts, against Ottawa, or, they got a game or whatever. They got 3 big games coming up. If Jet Greaves plays in one of those games, I want to see what he can do under a different coach in a different system. It could be worse. It could be the same. It could be better. I don't know. I want to see what he can do. If I had to take a guess, I would assume that he's probably going to do better, because just like what they're doing for Elvis Merzlikins, where he's not getting so many shots, it's probably going to help Jet Greaves too, where it's going to make a difference. And, up until, winning these last 4 games, this has just basically been a 2 out of 10 season for me, where for the most part it's been bad, but then there are some good moments there where you can look at it and say, oh, I like that game there. They played a good game there and they won. And this player's playing good. This player's playing good. This player's playing good. So it's that. But now it seems better because they're not doing as much as the dumb brain farts anymore. And goaltending. Now, going into this season, we've talked about this time and time again on different shows. Coming into this, whether it be last season or all those shows we did in the off season, in the summer, and training camp, and leading up to the season in October, we said something, okay, the goaltending, that could be an issue with the Blue Jackets. There were things you could look and say, oh, they're good at, that's not going to be an issue. The goaltending, like, ooh, I don't know about that one, because it was just too inconsistent, because Elvis Merzlikins, sometimes bad, sometimes good. And then the thing about Jet Greaves at that point in time is like, yeah, he's played a good game and he's looked good and he's helped the Blue Jackets win some games, but he hasn't played a lot of games. How can he handle a full 82-game schedule? And teams didn't really know much about him, but now they do, and the book is out on him. And what do you do when teams start finding out what you're good and what you're bad at? You got to figure out a way around that. And honestly, knowing what we know now, we're in January. The goaltending is not the issue. That's not something you can rip on the Blue Jackets for. You just can't, because Elvis Merzlikins and Jet Greaves have played good games. They've won the Blue Jackets some games. They've kept them in games. Jet Greaves has won some big games, even in shootouts, but Elvis Merzlikins has won some big games, especially in the shootouts. That's where he's really shined, is the shootout. So that's not, like, we can look at the goaltending and say, yeah, that's not the issue this season for the Blue Jackets. Okay, well, they're good. Like last year, they could score goals. They were good at that. Well, guess what? That trend has continued. This season, maybe not as good, but they're still good at scoring goals. They can still score goals. That's not an issue, because the Blue Jackets have games where they're scoring, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals. So scoring goals isn't an issue. What's been the issue for the Blue Jackets? They have stupid brain farts that leads to a puck being in the net. It's a bad turnover. It's making a play that you shouldn't, forcing it where it's not. Where you got the play, you're on the ice and you read the defense and it says, okay, you need to put the puck here. But you don't put the puck there. You put the puck somewhere else where that play is not there. And it gets picked off and it goes the other way. And sometimes it's in the back of your net because you had a stupid brain fart moment where you're trying to force a play where it's not there. And then issues with the defense. That's been an issue. these third period BS garbage where 9 times out of 10 it's an issue. There was those little 3 games there in like December and like part of January where it got better, where they had third period leads and they didn't poop their pants and blow it. They held on to the lead and won it. And then it went down the toilet and they went back to blowing third period leads, which, knowing what we know now, specifically that Pittsburgh game where you're winning 4-1, you're playing a good game and you piss it away. That's a big reason right there why Dean Evason got fired and he's not with the Blue Jackets anymore. That was the moment where Don Waddell started thinking, maybe I should consider a new coach. And then as the days went by, eventually he comes to the decision that, I need to fire Dean Evason and I need to go get a new coach for the Blue Jackets. So, goaltending, not the issue. Scoring, not the issue. They're still good at that. They can still score goals. They still have games where they score 3, 4, 5, 6, even like 7 goals. That's not the issue. And them being good at scoring goals is also why, besides Elvis Merzlikins being good at shootouts, is also why they're good in shootouts, because when the time comes and I need to put the puck in the net and score a goal, guess what? They get it done because they're good at scoring goals. So that's not the issue. So goaltending good, scoring goals, that's not an issue. That's good. It's the defense and these stupid-ass brain farts. That's the issue. That's why you are where you are right now. And you talked about it earlier on in the show, Hefty Duck. But the Blue Jackets are very lucky and very fortunate to be in a position that they are right now, that they are still in a spot to where they could fight for a playoff spot and get it. Because under normal circumstances, you don't have a situation where the Eastern Conference is so competitive from top to bottom to where you can make an argument where anyone in the Eastern Conference could get into the playoffs. That really doesn't happen. Under normal circumstances, if you are where you are with the Blue Jackets right now, you're probably not getting that. Now, granted, it's January. You still have a lot of time to go here where you can go on a run and get in. But every day goes by, it gets harder and harder. So it's like so it's a little bit of both. You have time because it's January. It's not like it's March or April where it's like you don't have a lot of time left. But you need to take care of this opportunity now while you have the chance, while you have the time to get it done. Because again, you don't want to be like what happened this past season, where you know what, you did way better than expected, and you played a good game, good season, but you just missed it by 1 game. Had you won one of those games, you would have gotten in. And then who knows what would have happened, because hockey is win and get in, and anything can happen. You can be the 8th seed, and you can go on a run to the Stanley Cup final. Sometimes maybe you can win it, because that's just how it goes with hockey. Win, get in, you can go on a run. And the last thing you don't want to be like last season, where because there's a game or two that you should have won but you didn't, and then you don't get in because of that. So it's like it's a little bit of both. You're not completely out of it because it's January and you still have a lot of time to go here, but you need to take care of it now. Take care of that opportunity while you have the time. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, kind of going on a rant, but they're not completely out of it. Goaltending is not the issue. They're good at scoring goals. It's the defense and the stupid brain farts that are causing the issues. And as of right now, 3 games, small sample size. But under Rick Bowness, the Blue Jackets are cleaning that up. You don't really see that.
Yeah, and let's just hope that the trend continues, like you said, and I've said like several times on this podcast. Like, it's a small sample size, but between that coaching bump and being where the Blue Jackets already are, in the middle of the pack, in the running, in that spot to feasibly pick up like a wild card or something. That this could be what gets them over that hump and what gets them into the playoffs for the first time since 2019.
2019, 2020 season when they knocked out Toronto.
Yeah. So, it would be nice to see here after a few years of not seeing it. That was so close last year too. And but honestly, I don't even think that they're even really doing that much worse than last season. I think it's because that they weren't doing better, honestly. Because now you've had a whole season to there was a very, very tragic event that you had to get through, and I think that at that time that Dean Evason was a great person to help them get through that, and then what he was able to come up with as the rest of their season, kind of salvaging what we what I would consider kind of salvaging the season, and getting them through everything. Did really well. One game out of the playoffs wasn't expected, but now I feel like that's exactly what it would have been this year, a couple games outside the playoff. And that's not where Don Waddell is trying to take this team. He's trying to take them to the end. He's trying to, give Columbus what they've never had, or what they've seldom had, at least, which is some playoff wins
and
something.
Yes, and that's an important point. There is that last season the Blue Jackets, we've talked about it time and time again, but they did way better than expected. You weren't expected to be that good, and then it's like, you don't have Johnny Gaudreau anymore because the stupid idiot drunk driver killed him. What are you gonna do? And then there's just so much up and down and so many emotions that are up and down and positive and negative and everything in between that goes with such a thing like that, where someone unfortunately dies because of a stupid drunk driver. So you had to deal with that. And then you have to deal with the fact that people think that you're not going to have a very good season. And I've been thinking about this too. It's like, not only that, but you got to play hey, Blue Jackets, you got to play an outdoor hockey game at Ohio State too. So we'll throw that one in your face there too. So there was just so much going on there that honestly, if the Blue Jackets didn't have a very good season, I would have hated it. It would have sucked. But at the same time, I would have been like, I get it. I get it. There would have been so much stuff to deal with between, people thinking they're not supposed to be very good and Johnny Gaudreau dies. And then you got to deal with that and the highs and the lows and everything in between. And then you got to go play the outdoor game at Ohio State and you got to deal with that. And then there's so much pomp and circumstances and so much emotions with that too, highs and lows and everything in between. And it's like, ooh, you get an outdoor game at Ohio State. That's cool. And ooh, the Blue Jackets have never done that before. Wonder what's that going to be? How's that going to go? And just so much ups and downs and everything in between that, I would I get it. If they would have had a bad season, it would have sucked, but I get it. But in the end, I do believe that Dean Evason and the Blue Jackets used all of that stuff and put it together and used it in a way for motivation, in a positive way. To hey, you know what? People don't think we're going to be very good. I think we're better than that. Let's prove them wrong. You know what? Hey, it sucks that Johnny Gaudreau unfortunately died. But you know what? We're going to do it for him. We're going to play for Johnny Gaudreau. We're going to have his jersey in the locker room wherever we go. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. The donkey hat for every time the Blue Jackets win. The player gets the donkey hat for the player of the game. And then it's like, hey, we get to play this cool outdoor hockey game at Ohio State. Let's have some fun with that. Let's use that to our advantage. Let's use that as some positive form of motivation. Something cool, something fun. We've never done it before, but we're going to have fun with it, and we're going to do it. And they did, and they won. They beat Detroit 5-3, and there's all this other stuff. It's just so that part, Dean Evason handled it correctly. Awesome. the best of the best. I don't think you could have asked any better for that. I don't think maybe you put someone else in there, and I don't think it goes as well. But Dean Nevison handled that, correctly. So there's that.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I'd agree with that. So sorry for any of you guys watching the video while Kevin was talking about some like really tragic shit. I was smiling over here a little bit. It was not about that. I happened to be scrolling through Twitter, and breaking news: the first goalie fight since 2020 has happened. Believe it or not, someone we were just talking about is Alex Nedeljkovic against Sergei Bobrovsky, and the Panthers against the Sharks right now. And Bobrovsky definitely went across that center line. That's automatic suspension, I'm pretty sure. But pretty good fight, actually. Really good fight. I'm not exactly sure. I feel like Nedeljkovic kind of won that one. I mean, Bobrovsky, they brought the heat. Anyway, that's our breaking news segment of the show. We rarely do breaking news. And usually it's something stupid like that. I love it.
Anyways, all right, on to the next part of the show. So last week on the show, I promised hockey jersey concepts, and then it's like, well, I can't do that because, the Blue Jackets made the decision to get rid of Dean Nevison and then go get Rick Bowness. And then so we had to talk about that. And then we had to talk about the 4 games that the Blue Jackets had played. And there was just so much going on. It's like, well, can't do that. We'll just have to do it for a different show. So this show, we'll do some hockey jersey concepts because we do it every so often on the show. Something to talk about, something fun. So I got some hockey jerseys to talk about. So these are all different Blue Jackets themed concepts that I've seen all over the internet. Starting off with this one from Burkus Circus Studios on Twitter. It's light blue version of Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey, and it's using the 3rd jersey colors, light blue jersey, and the vintage cream numbers outlined in the dark blue, and it obviously uses the outdoor game logo. The shoulder patch from the outdoor game, it's on both shoulders, but it's in 3rd jersey colors and dark blue, light blue jersey with the dark blue pants. And, overall, I like this. This is pretty good.
It's a pretty decent concept. I like it a lot. And nothing too offensive on here. I like that I do like that there's no red in here at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of unique for some of these jersey concepts. But blue is in the name, so it makes sense. These are legit sick. I gotta give this. I have 0 complaints about anything on this jersey. Nothing bothers me. Do I think it needs added anything? No, not particularly. Shit, dude. With the pants and the socks, like this rips. I'm trying hard to not give it a 10 out of 10. I'm trying to find something that puts me off about it to make it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got nothing, dude. 10 out of 10. I like this one a lot. It's probably literally my favorite jersey concept that I've seen. I'll be honest, I kind of like it a tiny bit better than the original, like the actual one, but tiny bit. I like the other one's a fantastic jersey too, but damn. Yeah, good on you, Burkus Circus.
That's right.
Burkus Circus Studios at Burkus Circus Studios on Twitter, or at Matt_BC Studios is his real. At.
All right. Anyways, so essentially he did a white version of the Blue Jackets outdoor game, and I like this.
I like this one. I mean, I'm always gonna be a little bit biased against away jerseys just because I'm not the biggest fan of white jerseys. Which is funny because I wear white shirts all the fucking time. But as far as like the away jerseys go, I prefer the color on the ice. It stands out better. It looks nicer. It's altogether better. But this one does slap.
Yeah.
So this is a different comparison since this is an away jersey. For an away jersey, it's
Yeah.
a different category for me. Totally separate category. I'll give this one a 10 out of 10. Now, if we're going with every jersey overall in one big category,
Yeah.
this is gonna get a 9 out of 10 because it's white.
Yeah.
It's an away jersey. You can't help that. I ain't gonna dog on it too bad, but damn, I like how simple these are.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're very similar to the actual like outdoor jersey, like
Yes.
actual ones, but like how simple they are. Yet it just features that cannon in the front. That's kind of what's been the definition of the Blue Jackets, like what their defining thing.
Yeah.
It's part of the theme. It's part of the arena, and it's part of the overall culture around the Blue Jackets. So,
It's true.
excuse me, sorry if the burp came through. Big fan.
Show. I think the shoulder patch is the normal logo.
Yeah, I kind of like that for this one because this one has red in it. I like that they didn't use that one with the other one.
Yeah.
So it didn't have any red on it at all. But I totally get why they chose to have it in this one. I like the little lines of red they have. It's not very dominant.
All right. So on to the next one. So essentially, let's see who did this. Who did this? At Saturn Styles on Instagram. So at Saturn Styles on Instagram. Essentially did their own version of like a Blue Jackets third jersey, dark blue with the like light blue outlined in white and white numbers outlined in light blue, and slightly changed the logo. It's pretty, the striping like that, stars on the sleeve, and same thing with the white jersey. Light blue outlined in the dark blue and light blue numbers outlined in dark blue. That light blue around the logo on the white. I like that. That really pops.
I like that a lot.
I do. I
like the light blue strings.
Yeah.
Very random detail.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I think this is pretty good. I like it.
Huge fan of both these. You're bringing some bangers right off the rip here today. Big fan of both these. A couple things that I don't, I guess, care for as much. One, I like that there's no red on it at all. I don't mind the red, but it's part of the Ohio flag, not necessarily the Blue Jackets. Whatever. Anyway, they're using the OG can logos with the circle around it, like that. Like it says Columbus Blue Jackets on it. Shows the cannon, gives you an idea of, some people don't know what the hell a Blue Jacket means or what that means, and so it might give them an idea, like, maybe it's Civil War, and then put two and two together. It's called the Union Blue, whatever.
Yeah.
Couple little quips. I don't know how I feel about I like both these a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
The blue I feel like should be slightly lighter on the dark one.
Yeah.
And I feel like on the white jersey, I wish that they would have just put two dark stripes instead of the light blue stripes.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint.
Yeah.
I'll give the home jersey, that's pretty solid. I'll give that 8.5 out of 10. The white one, I actually like a lot. I just talked about how I don't like away jerseys quite as much, but I like this one a lot. I'd give this a 9 out of 10. I'd buy that in a heartbeat. The one little, the weird little details about this that make it is, like I said, the strings and the collar's kind of cool. The attention to detail for these is great. Yeah. I see that they use, is that Kibby's number? Matisse Klavonieks?
Yeah, and it's probably an older one. All right, so next up, I got one more to show, and then we got some other stuff to share before we get out of here. So,
he was 80. Never mind, it's my bad.
We'll put this one up on the screen here. So let's see here. Let's see here. So we'll take this off the screen for a second. Okay. upload it onto the screen here. So here we go. It's gonna upload, and I thought this one's an okay one. There you go. You know, uh, so basically a 2018 take of the Blue Jackets jerseys for an outdoor game. Of course, Maffrey Stadium, that's where the old stadium that the Crew used to play at, not the stadium that they have that's downtown Columbus in the Arena District. But essentially for the Blue Jackets, it is a blue jersey, kind of with like red shoulders and then red outlined in white. The numbers are white outlined in red, and the Cannon logo from the shoulder patch for the home and away. Detroit has, white with red, a little silver outlined in red. So, I think Detroit's okay. I like the Blue Jackets one, so that's pretty cool, But anyways, I think this is good.
I'm glad that the Blue Jackets came up with the design that they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple things here. So this is from 8 years ago, but for some reason this feels like it's from like 28 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a little jab there. So one thing that I noticed was Detroit actually has the silver, the
Ohio State
silver and crimson is what, scarlet and silver, whatever. So it's like got a silver stripe on there. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about having that in Columbus. I wouldn't do that. That's one thing. The Columbus jersey itself, the red on the shoulders, dislike.
Yeah.
Other than that, I like the Cannon jersey with the OG red, white, and blue colors. That's cool. Too much red. And I mean, hell, on the Red Wings one, I don't like the shoulders on theirs either. I just don't like the shoulder pad look there. It's just not my taste.
Yeah.
And then the kind of gray stripe around the red stripe, that's a choice. That's a choice.
Yeah.
This does seem very 2018.
Yeah.
But okay, so as far as ratings go, Blue Jackets one, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, like quality. Like if that's the one that we were given, like yeah, I would buy it. But I like the other one. Reds concept, and don't get me wrong, like I'm not rating it just because it's the Reds. Like I like some of their older jerseys. Shit, dude. As far as like all the other Reds jerseys I've seen, like this has to be like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
4 out of 10. Sorry, the silver is getting me. It's not even just because it's Ohio State colors. It's just to me, I didn't know silver was a Red Wings color. I thought it was red and white.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, that's my ratings.
All right. So we'll take this off the screen. Last couple things here to talk about, and then we'll get out of here. First things first. Here's a little standings update for Big Ten hockey. At the top, it's Michigan, then Penn State, then Michigan State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. So you want to talk about a difference? Like, oh my goodness! Like Notre Dame was one point. They're 30 points behind Michigan. Oh God, that's terrible.
Basically, it connects to the college world.
Goodness. And Ohio State, that's a big difference. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised by this, but Big Ten standings, you only have 9 points compared to 31 for Michigan. Like, yeah, I get it. Very unfortunate, but I get it. This is what you're going to get. You get 9 points. This is what you get when you don't put effort into hockey, which Ohio State, for the most part, does not do. They don't really care. It's football, and that's it. If you're not football, you don't matter. So it's very sad and unfortunate that Ohio State is where they are in the Big Ten right now, but I'm not surprised. When you don't put effort into hockey, you get this kind of results where you have 9 points and everyone else is double digits. And, 31 to 9, that is just ridiculously bad. But anyways, but again, it's like I'm not surprised that Michigan is at the top because they're consistently good at hockey and they put effort into their hockey team and they are rewarded for it. And look at who are the best guys for the Blue Jackets. Besides the Russians, it's Zach Werenski, who went to Michigan. It's Kent Johnson, who went to Michigan. It's Adam Fantilli, who went to Michigan. So, like, some of the best guys that the Blue Jackets have, they went to Michigan. So I get it. I'm not surprised that Michigan is top in the Big Ten, or they have first place right now in the Big Ten. So I get it. Would like to see Ohio State do better, but they need to put more effort into hockey. And from my perspective, they don't care about hockey and they're not really interested in that. So very sad and disappointing, but I get it why Ohio State is where they are, unfortunately.
Yeah. You really can't say, and Michigan still sucks.
No.
When referring to the hockey team.
Because
the whole 2 minutes left in the period. At a hockey Blue Jackets game, at a hockey game, and you're talking about, and Michigan still sucks. You're talking about a football team.
Yeah.
A college football team. So, like, I feel like if you're saying that at a hockey game, wouldn't you kind of be referring to the Michigan hockey team then? And you got a pro one, so you'd be talking about the Red Wings. But even if you were talking about the college, they're whooping ass. So, yeah. At least Ohio State, they got their 2 games less played than everyone else, so there's a chance they could maybe get. No, they couldn't go up in the standings because even if they got, I'm assuming it's like NHL, like 2 points, 1 point type bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess they could only go up to 13 points, and Minnesota's at 14. So yeah, they're fucked. Yeah. But
Jeez, but
yeah, it's a bummer. I like seeing Minnesota do a little better.
That one is kind of surprising because they're usually towards the top and always historically good in hockey because it's the state of hockey and they love hockey up there in Minnesota. I've been to Minnesota many times for hockey games, and the hockey culture up there is awesome. It's something like Columbus has good hockey culture, but it's nowhere near what Minnesota has, and I wish Columbus had what Minnesota has in regards to hockey because it's everywhere. They love it up there.
Do they have a 3-point system? Because Ohio State has 9 points or 3. So it's 3 points for a win. Gotcha. Because that's how Notre Dame has 1 point probably for like a tie they lost, I'm assuming, because they're 0-12.
Yeah.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah.
Oof.
0-12 in Big Ten play for Notre Dame. Not good.
Not good at all.
But compared to Michigan, who's 11-3 in the Big Ten. That's just, and but anyway, so no, I'm kind of surprised. Normally Minnesota is like top 3, but oh well. But yep. So Ohio State, please do better. That's just me. So that's your Big Ten hockey report because I like Big Ten. I like talking about the Big Ten. We're Ohio State guys, but I also like the Big Ten because I'm a Big Ten guy. That's just how it is. So we'll take that off on the screen. Couple more things to go here. So Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith had a big goal for Penn State. He's a defenseman, plays for Penn State, and he scored another big goal for Penn State. And the thing about the goals that he scores is that they are bombs. They are heaters. It's just a slap shot, and I'm just going to blow it right past you, and you have no chance. Time and time again, when I see Jackson Smith score a goal for Penn State, that's what it is. It's just slap shot. I'm going to blow it right past you. You have no chance. And he did it again, and that's exactly what happened here. So we're going to put that up on the screen and play it. So we go, and we're going to play it. So Penn State is playing Notre Dame. Penn State is up 1-0. And, there's good puck battle along the boards. Penn State's going to win it. Pucks, they're going to do little passes, and then it's going to go to Jackson Smith, who's over on the right side of the ice, and he's just going to blow it past the goalie for Notre Dame. No chance.
Penn State wants to make it back to the Frozen Four again, and it's not a bad thing to have those big horses back on the blue line for playoff hockey. Jackson Smith scores! 2-0 Penn State!
Maybe Notre Dame would do a little better if they got rid of those hideous-ass shiny gold helmets. Can't believe, reflective, chrome, shiny chrome shit is, allowed in, any sport ever.
So what Notre Dame is trying to do, they're essentially trying to have, so the football team has helmets like that, and that's what they're trying to do with that, essentially.
Yeah.
Penn State is the same thing. Their helmet is based off of what the football team wears.
Yeah. They're probably the same thing with the lacrosse helmets and all that shit. Because Ohio State does something similar too. Don't they? They even have Buckeye leaves, I think.
Yes, Ohio State. Well, the men's hockey, not the women's, but the men's hockey. Basically, it's the football helmet, and then as the season goes along, they put Buckeye leaves on it.
Why not the women's?
I never understood that. I don't know why they don't do that, but they don't.
But then the women get the fight song?
Yes, but the women get the fight song when they score the goal.
What the fuck, dude? Give both teams both. Swear to God.
Yes, I know.
Both teams both. Make it all the same if you're going to make it all the same, because that's what we're here for.
Yes, I know. Ohio State should, both men and the women for Ohio State hockey should have the fight song when they score the goal. And they should have the football helmet thing with the Buckeye leaf. But anyways, that's besides the point. So, Halfty Deck, what are you seeing here on this goal?
So I'm seeing the collapse of the Notre Dame defense. It's something that I pick out a lot. I'm very much more of a defensive minded player myself. So I just oftentimes that's what I'm harping on because it's what I know better. Lackadaisical. It's also weirded me out that the home team is the white jersey, but makes sense. It's college.
Yeah.
But what a rip from up top. So if you notice, every single Notre Dame's player is across the center of ice, and I'm not talking about the red line. I'm talking about these center, the long ways, hot dog style. Every single one of their players is on their defensive right side of the ice, so they're blowing it already. And if you see here, top left, wide open, top right, that guy, every single one of their backs is turned to him. So these guys, Penn State, they know exactly what to do in this situation. So it's a very good play by everyone, but then of course Jackson Smith with that with his play here. So go ahead and roll it, and it's going to come back out of the corner to the very top. And at this point, number 20 for Notre Dame does realize that he has his entire ass just hanging out behind him, total wide open, and he's going to start moving, but it's going to be a little bit too late because the other guy is supposed to be down kind of between his player and the goaltender, or either on his man, either one. He's not doing either. So go ahead and keep rolling it a little bit. And boom, comes out up top. Is that Smith there?
No, he's on the.
No. Okay.
So right side of the ice.
So we've probably heard us talk about it. You've probably heard other people talk about keeping the play in front of you. Well, these guys are all about to blow that hard. They're just not doing the job they should be. One of them's down against the board, so one, you're just out of play altogether.
Yeah.
But they are still at this point, every single one of their skaters on their right defensive half, like 15 feet over the right defensive half, just in that corner. And whereas Jackson Smith posted up where he should be. So it's not just that he has the skill to make this shot, it's that he knew where to be in this moment. So you roll it. Number 24 here is just going to make an easy play. Boom. Right then and there, finally, number 20 crossed over the center ice to go get his eye. I'm not saying that he should have been crossed over the entire time. I'm saying maybe hang out a little bit more central to where you're at, keeping in mind your positioning. Because you might be extremely skilled. You might think, oh, my speed will save me. Oh, yeah, it might. But why does it have to? Why not just position yourself correctly and, save your speed for when it's absolutely necessary or something? Because here he's not fast enough. He's just not. Not for Jackson Smith, who rips a one-timer, I believe, right?
Yep.
And the goaltender's moving right now too. So they're not set up where they should be for the shot. Let's go ahead and roll it. Slam. Bam. And does it go 5-hole? I'm so confused there. It almost looked like it comes right up over.
Okay, there's the puck right there.
It looks low.
It was right there. In the bottom corner, left side of the net.
Bottom corner? How does it go under his leg or does it go around it?
Back this up.
So, and like this feels like a miscommunication possibly between the goaltender and his defense, because
so there you go, right there.
At this point, Kendi should be a little bit more centralized. I mean, the whole team is just focused so hard on puck watching and puck chasing that they're just hanging it out wide open out there.
So yeah, he is kind of goofy there when he's taking.
Yeah. So right here, he needs to already be like looking at it and set, like in the stands. At this point, he's still getting in the set motion, and once you're caught like that, it's hard to. It's just hard to. You don't have your like full range of motion because your momentum's going one way and you're playing on fucking ice. Like
Right.
It's a hard thing to do.
And then, not right there.
Yeah, it looked like it went under his leg, I think. So technically 5-hole. What a rip! Because it's because his momentum was still going that way. His right leg was not stopped yet. If it had been stopped, he could have dropped it probably a little bit easier. I'm not a goaltending expert by any means. I'm just saying what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. So that's that. But wait.
Hell yeah.
But wait, there's more. So Penn State on their Instagram page posted what was that like? What was that goal like if you were at the game? And I am gonna, share that of what was it like if you were at the game. So that was a cool video. So we'll put this up on the screen. There is going to be a little loud cheer. We'll play that, and then we can say, something about it. Oh, wait, no, it's this one, right? Okay, put this up on the screen. Okay, so we'll play it, and then once it's done, we'll say something about it. So this is what it's like at the game when Jackson Smith scored. Good crowd, good cheer.
Nice. I feel like, is that the student section right there on the end?
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's like a bunch of like college age kids there because they're already standing.
Yeah.
I just assumed that'd be more of a student section thing. Yeah, those are like bleacher seats and shit too. That's cool.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool. That's a really good angle for that.
Yeah.
There's a second angle too. That's cool.
Because I'm always checking. I'm always, when Michigan had Blue Jackets prospects, I'm always checking their, social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatnot, to see if they have anything about their respective prospects. And so That used to be I would just check Michigan, sometimes Wisconsin when they had William Whitelaw. But now most of my attention is basically Penn State and Michigan State because they have Jackson. Penn State has Jackson Smith and Michigan State has Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom. So I'm always checking to see if they have something. And this time they did. They had a good video of what was it like if you were at the game when Jackson Smith scored the goal.
It's pretty sick.
And again, I've said this on the show, but like, come on, Ohio State, can we have something like this? This is an awesome world-class hockey arena, perfect for college. You need to have something like this. You need to step up your game. The Shot is not a good place for a hockey game. And the women play in a pee-wee rink, which is embarrassing because they played in 4 national championships and they've won 2 of them. Like, we need Ohio State. We need to be better about this. We need a better hockey facility, like what Penn State has, or Michigan, or Minnesota, whatever. Like, we need something like this because they deserve it, in my opinion. Ohio State needs to be better about this and get a better hockey facility.
Hell yeah.
But that's besides the point. All right. Next up, we got another Jackson Smith video to share. We'll turn that off. So this is like a little fun team event that they had. It was like a sled hockey event, and different Penn State players showed up. And look, there's Jackson Smith. He's taking some pictures at the event. Look, and being a photographer.
That's pretty cool.
And then, there's Jackson Smith again, taking some pictures with people, So that is cool. Play this one more time. All right. And then we got one more Jackson Smith video to share. So wanted to play this on the show last week, but we didn't have enough time. So this is Jackson Smith getting introduced during player introductions. So we'll play this one. So play it one more time so you can see it. There's Jackson Smith, Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith, getting introduced versus the starting lineup during a Penn State hockey game. So there's that. And, this is just how it is. We're talking about Penn State here, in part because of Jackson Smith. But Penn State is also getting an outdoor hockey game the last weekend in January. Like, this is really cool. And, kind of makes me like, hey, come on, Ohio State, let's go. Let's go. Let's get an outdoor hockey game. You helped the Blue Jackets get an outdoor hockey game, and it was awesome. I was there. It was cool. 94,000 plus people were there. It set a record for second highest ever attended hockey game in NHL history. It set new TV ratings for best stadium series game on TV since 2019. It was awesome. A great moment in Blue Jackets history that not only got to show off the Blue Jackets, it showed off Ohio State, but also showed the world what a great place Columbus is. And now, I want that for you, Ohio State. You should have an outdoor hockey game at the Shoe, just like the Blue Jackets did. Penn State is doing one. Why can't you? Come on now, Ohio State. Let's get with the program here. Come on, go have some fun. Go have an outdoor hockey game at the Shoe, just like the Blue Jackets did.
So what?
So, anything to say there, Hefty Duck?
I do not.
Okay, then. So we'll get that out of the way. Last thing, and then we'll share our stuff and get out of here, is this. So, talked about it earlier on in the show. Charlie Coyle gets the game-winning goal in the shootout for the Blue Jackets to beat Pittsburgh 4-3 in the shootout. What was it like at the game when Charlie Coyle got that goal? Well, I'll tell you what it's like, because Jeff Savoda, the team reporter for the Blue Jackets, was at that game, and he did a video of what was it like at the game when Charlie Coyle got the game-winning goal in the shootout to win it for the Blue Jackets. And I'm going to play that video.
Love to hear that loud of a cheer.
I know.
When, we kind of hear the same thing in Columbus. It's bound to happen. I bet there's probably tons of people who go up to Detroit as well. I mean, Pittsburgh's definitely close. Like, it's not a long drive by any means. In fact, I think Pittsburgh might be a tiny bit closer for me. Let's see. Where's the map? How long will that take? My location, duh. Where else do you think I'd be going? It's 2 hours, 12 minutes from my home just to random, just Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So let's see how far Columbus is. Columbus, 1 hour, 50 minutes. So it's literally like 20 minutes more to go to Pittsburgh. And if you're And it is it's a 2 hour and 57-minute drive from Columbus to Pittsburgh. So about 3 hours you'll get there. Not that far of a drive. So it makes sense why there'd be a lot of people, especially the people who are fans who are maybe closer to the border.
Yeah. So no, that is something like when the Blue Jackets scored goals there was a decent reaction to that. Like I was like, man, that is so cool, because
we hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's annoying as shit when it's in your own barn, but
yes.
I'm glad we can return the favor.
It's true though. It's true though, because most of those people are fake Blue Jackets fans that, they wear Blue Jacket stuff, but then when they play Pittsburgh, it's back to Pittsburgh stuff, and then they go back to wearing Blue Jacket stuff when it's not Pittsburgh, and that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. So, that makes it extra annoying. But having said that, it was cool to see that when the Blue Jackets were in Pittsburgh and they scored a goal, there was a decent crowd reaction to that for the Blue Jackets, which is cool, because, generally speaking, that doesn't really happen for the most part. The closest thing I've seen something like that was during the 2018-2019 season when the Blue Jackets were in Nashville, and the Blue Jackets won that game 5-2, and it was on a Saturday. And for whatever reason, there was a lot of Blue Jackets fans down there for that game. So, when they scored, there was a decent, a real good, yeah, for the Blue Jackets, a loud cheer. So that was cool to see that when the Blue Jackets scored a goal in Pittsburgh, that there was a decent amount of Blue Jackets fans there that got a good cheer there. So that was cool. That was cool. That was cool. I know I said one last thing. I take that back. It's 2 more quick things. I don't want to forget about it. So I'm not going to give the whole video away. But Ugly Thirds, it's basically a hockey channel that just talks about different hockey jerseys. And they're like an encyclopedia. Name a hockey jersey. They probably have it. And then they talk about it. And then they like talking about like every team's look and what they like, what they don't like, and they rank the jerseys, like which team has the better look, and then they go team by team and say, okay, this is the best jersey for each team, and so they'll rank like home, away, third. Now, for the Blue Jackets, it's a little different now because they've ranked all 3, the home, away, and the third, and they think the Ugly Thirds thinks that the third jersey, the home, then the away. More specifically, they like the Reebok versions of all those jerseys. But now that since the Blue Jackets have had an outdoor game, they like the outdoor game jersey the most, which is not surprising. Everyone likes that jersey. Why I'm bringing this up, though, is they recently had a video where they ranked every hockey jersey in the Big Ten. And so there was home, away, third. Now, there were some teams that, got an S, and, some teams that got, whatever. But I'm not going to spoil the whole video. But, basically, they ranked Ohio State as a C. And the reason is because they did not like the red jersey. And if you know that the red jersey that Ohio State has, it's all red. There's barely any white or silver on it. And I agree with that. It's too much red. You need something to break up the red. They liked the third jersey, and they liked the away jersey that Ohio State has, but they did not like the red. I'll quickly see when I bring this up on the screen so I can show you what we're talking about here. So, hockey. So, so this is what they're talking about here. So we'll put this up on the screen now. Put this up on the screen here. So, all right. So as you can see, I put it up on the screen. So when you look at the red jersey that Ohio State has, it's too much red. You need something else. You need a little gray. You need a little white. You need something else to help break up some of the red. And that was the criticism that Ugly Thirds had, which is it's too much red. You need something else to break it up. However, though, they were big fans of what Ohio State does with their white jersey and their third jersey. They really liked the white, and they liked the third jersey. Kind of gives off kind of that classic old school looking hockey jersey. So honestly, if like for their jersey ranking, if Ohio State didn't have the red jersey, this would have been much higher in their rankings. But because Ohio State has the red jersey, it's a C. So I guess I agree with them. So a little too much red for my liking. Needs something to break up some of that red, whether that be a little, black or some white or some gray, something. So, anything to say here, Hefty Doc?
Oh, sorry. I'm a little busy doing some things. Oh, no, not really. It's just pretty solid overall.
Yeah, so that's that. All right, one last thing, and we'll say our stuff, and we'll get out of here. So,
I got to get going here.
yeah, I know we went on a heater today, man. We're long,
Yeah.
but good show.
We
Good
really
show.
got to go real soon.
Yeah. All right, so a song I'm listening to a lot recently is "Drum Show" by 21 Pilots. So I think you should check that out. Good song, "Drum Show," 21 Pilots. I show this to my niece because she plays drums. My niece Ava, she plays drums, and I showed her this song and she liked it and she liked the video. But check out 21 Pilots, "Drum Show." It's a good song. I like it. And 21 Pilots, they're from Columbus and they like the Blue Jackets. And you saw them play at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. So one last time, check out "Drum Show" by 21 Pilots. They do good music. They're from Columbus, and they support the Blue Jackets.
Hell yeah.
All right, so yeah, Hefty Duck and I, we've gone on a heater here. Good show. This is over 2 hours, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But anyways, Hefty Duck and I, we're going to say our final stuff, and then we're going to get out of here. I've done some of the talking a lot for a good chunk of the show, so I'll send it off to Hefty Duck so he can say his stuff, and then I can say mine, and then we can get out of here.
I don't have much, but I am gonna head out like right after I say my stuff because I got some stuff I really gotta go do here soon. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching that from. Listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you can find music. Check me out at Lance Schrock Tattoos on Instagram. Come get tattooed. That's all I got. I do have to get heading out though. Good podcast, man. I will see you again soon. Later.
Yeah.
Leave studio, not end stream. I got this time.
Good. Okay, so Hefty Duck, he's gone out of here. I'm going to say my stuff, and then I'm going to get out of here. So, first things first, like I always do, please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Next up, as always, I have to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc, the best of the best. I miss you very much. I still wish that you were here. You unfortunately died in September of 2024. And I wish you're still here because you know what? You were the life of the party. You were a good guy, an awesome guy. The guy you want to see, a guy you want to see at a party, the best of the best. I love seeing you at family get-togethers and birthdays and holidays like Christmas and New Year's Eve and Thanksgiving and Easter and so much more. You were a big hockey guy just like me, and that's where I kind of get some of my inspiration. You're a big Blackhawks guy, but the Blue Jackets became your second favorite team because of me, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. You had one of your favorite hats to wear was because of me, and I appreciate that, which is you had a blue camo Blue Jackets hat that you liked wearing a lot. Of course, you got that blue camo Blue Jackets hat from my dad and I, because in January of 2020, my dad and I did a big trip to Ohio We did Cincinnati, and we went up to Columbus, and we saw Ohio State hockey and Blue Jackets hockey. 2 Blue Jackets games, 1 Ohio State hockey game, and of course there was a game watch party at our bar too, as the Blue Jackets were in New York on a Sunday, so that was cool. But anyways, at the 2 Blue Jackets games we went to on that January 2020 trip there was one on a Thursday and one on a Saturday. The one on a Thursday was against the Carolina Hurricanes. The one on a Saturday was against the New Jersey Devils. The Blue Jackets beat Carolina 3-2, and the Blue Jackets smoked the New Jersey Devils 5-1. And then the next game was at the game watch party at our bar, and that's the game where the Blue Jackets won 2-1 because Matisse Kevlenix had a real good game. He just kept the Blue Jackets in the game, kind of took it over, made some big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. And then third period, Oliver Bjorkstrand was just ridiculously good. Real good game, offensive. It's just a real good game and just awesome offense where he scored 2 goals in that game and essentially took it over in the third period. And that's why the Blue Jackets won that game. But anyways, that game against the Carolina Hurricanes on that Thursday night that I went to on my trip to Columbus in January of 2020, it was military night at that Blue Jackets game. And that the giveaway was a blue camo Blue Jackets hat. Now, of course, it was just my dad and I going to that game, and we wait in line. We go inside. We wait in line to get our ticket scanned, and then we get our ticket scanned, and then you walk up to the person one of the people that's giving away the hats, and they give 3 to us, even though we only needed 2 because there was only 2 people, my dad and I. And then, my dad, and we get through the line, we get through our hats and everything, and then my dad's just standing there like, what are we going to do with with 3 hats? And then he thought about, what? Oh, we'll give it to Doc. He would wear that. He would like that. And sure enough, that's what you did, Doc. You wore that hat. You wore that hat, Doc. You loved wearing that blue camo Blue Jackets hat. It was one of your favorite hats you wore, in part because you did it for me, and I appreciate that. You wore it at your cooking job that you had. And you'd always tell this story about how that your fellow co-workers at your cooking job loved that hat. They'd say, oh, that's a cool hat. What's that? And you would say, oh, it's Blue Jackets. It's Blue Jackets. It's hockey. My nephew gave this hat to me. And be like, oh, yeah. And they're like, oh, that's a cool hat. And I always just got a kick out of it. I just loved when you would tell that story to me. Of course, all those years I had the street hockey tournaments that I had over the years, and you were always there for me to help me out with the street hockey tournaments and support me. And, you were a basketball ref for all those years, especially in the 90s. And you would dress up. You basically wear your reffing outfit that you had for basketball, and you'd wear that for the street hockey tournaments, and you'd ref the games, and that was cool, and I appreciate that. So, so that was cool, and always loved talking hockey with you. You say, oh, you tell me on how you think the Blackhawks are doing, and I tell you on how I think the Blue Jackets are doing. And that's something I miss. I wish you were still here so that I could talk hockey with you, and I could share my thoughts on I could share my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets are doing, and you could share your thoughts on how the Blackhawks are doing, and you could ask me some questions about the Blue Jackets and talk hockey and so much more. So you are loved by your family and friends, and you're missed so much, a lot, very dearly. So I wish you're still here so I could see you at family parties and birthday parties and get-togethers and holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and so much more. And I wish I could talk hockey with you, and you could tell me on how you think the Blackhawks are doing, and I could tell you how I think the Blue Jackets are doing. So you're a big Blackhawks guy, but the Blue Jackets became your second favorite team because of me. You always supported the Blue Jackets because of me, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you. So shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything. Now, one last thing for me, as I always do. Don't forget to check out Union Blue Soldiers. Don't forget to check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed group that I run. We do a lot of fun stuff like marches that bring Blue Jackets fans together to cheer on the Blue Jackets. We usually get about like 80 to 100 people that show up, except for 2021, 2022, and 2023, when the Blue Jackets showed up and did the march with us, and they promoted it very aggressively all over their social media, and it's been featured on TV during Blue Jackets games. And if you've been to a Blue Jackets game within the last 6-7 years, you've seen the marches that Union Blue Soldiers does on the scoreboard at Blue Jackets games. It's a lot of fun. It's been on TV. ABC 6 News, Clay Hall has featured it. Whitney Harding from NBC4 has featured it on TV. And then also Adam King. Shout out to Adam King from 10 TV, who has put, the last 2 years, who has put the Union Blue Soldiers March on TV. So that's cool. Shout out to the Columbus Dispatch. They put Union Blue Soldiers March in the Columbus Dispatch. 97.1 The Fan. Shout out to Anthony Rothman from Rothman and Ice, who they had me on their show in October 2019 to talk about the march. So that was cool. So check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. Check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. And, you know, Stinger's been there. The people who throw the T-shirts into the crowd at the Blue Jackets games have been there. It's a lot of fun. It's a great event that brings Blue Jackets fans together to cheer on the Blue Jackets. I'm just going to play one video to show you what it's like.
Let's go Jackets! 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 Let's go Jackets!
So there you go. That's a video from just different marches that Union Blue Soldiers has had over the years. And as you can see, watching that video, it's a great time to be with your fellow Blue Jackets fans, to come together and cheer on the Blue Jackets. So we do them for every home opener for the Blue Jackets. And if the Blue Jackets make the playoffs, we also do a March then. So if the Blue Jackets make the playoffs, I'm doing another March, and you should check that out. If not, check out the Union Blue Soldiers March for the next Blue Jackets home opener next season. So, just throwing that one out there. So, check out Union Blue Soldiers. Another thing to share is our next show will be on Sunday, January 25th, 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube and Twitter. Again, the next show will be on Sunday, January 25th, 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. One more time, the next show will be on Sunday, January 25th, 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So check that out. And one last time, check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. And one last time, check out Union Blue Soldiers. So, that's it for me for now. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you next time. Bye now.